This is the Georgia Farm Monitor. Since 1966, your source for state and national agribusiness news and features for farmers and consumers about Georgia's #1 industry, agriculture. The Farm Monitor is produced by the state's largest general farm organization, the Georgia Farm Bureau. Now, here are your hosts, Ray DeLessio and Kenny Burgamy.
Yes, indeed. It is time again. Time to soak in all the ag info you can handle in exactly 28 minutes and 30 seconds. Hi, everybody. So glad you decided to join us for another edition of the Georgia Farm Monitor. I'm Ray DeLessio.
And I'm Kenny Burgamy. We've got a lot to get to on today's show. Coming up, American Farm Bureau President Bob Stallman tells members of Congress the time is now to pass TPA, also known as Trade Promotion Authority. Also on the program, the Monitor sits down with USDA Deputy Secretary and Camilla, Georgia native Krista Harden regarding her rise to the top as one of the nation's leading authorities in agriculture.
Plus, in this month's edition of Meals from the Field, Marcia Crowley and myself welcome a guest chef who shows us how to make the dish that won him top honors at the Pantry Pride Recipe Contest. All this and more starting right now on the Georgia Farm Monitor.
Well, from the small town of Camilla to the most powerful city in the country has been quite a journey for USDA Deputy Secretary Krista Harden. In a recent sit-down with Damon Jones of the Monitor, she tells us her role within the administration and her path to get there.
It's really important from both my parents' perspective, because they grew up on farms, that me and my sister really valued and understood the work ethic that they both had and had been raised with. They instilled that in us. That farming was a business, how important it was that we understood that, and really how lucky we were just to have a beautiful farm, to grow food for other people. You know, what a gift. I graduated from high school in the late 70s and college the early 80s, and it was a really tough time in agriculture. My family went through some really tough financial times, so I was really looking for a career off the farm. It was no way that farm in Southwest Georgia could support another person, another family. So I was looking at a way to make a difference, but in a different way. And I came to Washington to work on Capitol Hill, which really, truly just opened this country girl's eyes. I had known about agriculture from, the ground up, really understanding about what it takes from a business point of view, the decisions that are made, the great control that Mother Nature has over success, but did not understand the differences and the importances, frankly, of ag policy. And then I really realized that most folks in our country don't understand what we do as farmers, how the 1% feeds the 99%. That was very eye-opening to me, to start having friends who did not grow up on farms or didn't have connections to farms, that were from cities, who really just took their food as a convenience. You run out, you get it. You have all these choices, it's very affordable, not realizing they're hardworking folks like my parents on farms all across our country and ranches who are making sure we have that abundant food supply. I am the COO, the Chief Operating Officer of the department, which means I do more budget and management issues sometimes that are fun, but there are things that help this big department keep moving forward. I serve on the President's Management Council along with all my colleagues. So we help provide recommendations to the President and the leadership of the country on big management issues that impact everyone. I got to lead the implementation of the Farm Bill. The Secretary asked me to go through that process. We have spent a year really making sure that it's implemented in a fair, safe, transparent way. It's very critical to the Secretary and to myself that we get these programs out on the ground, dollars out in the communities where they're needed. I spend a lot of time with young people, and that is just so rewarding. Go to college campuses, and high schools and 4-H clubs and FFA chapters, really talking to our young people about a career in agriculture. I also spend a lot of time with women, and across this great country, there are women like me who love the land, love agriculture, and want a voice. They want to be involved. They want a seat at the table. A lot of women are going to inherit land in the next several years. We've got to make sure they understand the value of keeping that land in agriculture. So as the deputy, I feel like I have the opportunity right now, and it's only a couple of more years, to really make sure that everyone understands the commitment, the love, the passion that goes into agriculture. It is such an honor to have this job. I get kind of emotional still. I've been doing it a year and a half, and I still can't believe that it's me who has this privilege to represent farm families, not only from my small town in Mitchell County, Georgia, my family, my state, my country. And it just, I don't take it for granted.
All right, in other news now, according to the American Farm Bureau, quote, the proposed Waters of the U.S. rule, unless dramatically altered, will result in potential Clean Water Act liability and federal permit requirements for a tremendous number of commonplace and essential farming, ranching, and forestry practices nationwide. During a recent testimony, American Farm Bureau General Counsel Ellen Steen told a House Agriculture Subcommittee that the Waters of the U.S. rule will create enormous uncertainty and vulnerability for farmers and ranchers nationwide.
I say potential liability only because we cannot know today which farmers will face agency enforcement or citizen lawsuits. We also cannot know exactly when those inspections and lawsuits will happen. But what is certain is that a tremendous number of common, responsible farming and ranching and forestry practices that occur today without any need for a federal permit will be highly vulnerable to agency enforcement and citizen lawsuits under this rule.
Also appearing before that committee, American Farm Bureau Federation President Bob Stallman, who urged Congress to pass TPA, also known as the Trade Promotion Authority, which would give U.S. negotiators the leverage they need to keep America competitive in the international marketplace.
New trade agreements cannot come soon enough. U.S. agricultural exports are projected to decline by as much as $9 billion this year. Some of that decrease is due to lower commodity prices, but it is also due to non-science-based restrictions on one product or another and high tariffs around the world. For America's farmers and ranchers to see continued export growth, we must pin deals that knock down those trade barriers. And giving the administration Trade Promotion Authority is necessary to reach those market opening agreements.
Now still to come on the Monitor, see how members of the Cherokee Farm Bureau celebrated National Ag Day.
Oh, but first, it's time for another episode of our monthly feature, Meals from the Field. This month, Marcia and I welcome a young and enthusiastic future chef who shows us how to make his winning dish from the annual Pantry Pride recipe competition. Stay with us.
On the big island of Hawaii, Corin Weller grows flowers in hoop houses for traditional Hawaiian leis. Weller got help from USDA's Natural Resources Conservation Service to build hoop houses to grow her flowers.
The benefits to having a hoop house here for me was being able to control the water, because we have some rainy seasons, we have some drought seasons, and also the wind and the rain. And weed control, of course. With tuberoses, they're a bit fragile, so with wind the stems knock down.
With the help from NRCS, Weller was introduced to a whole new way of farming.
I think the most rewarding part of helping producers is when they have that light bulb come on and they realize, oh, I missed this part, and it just brings everything back together as far as the holistic view.
Weller's farm has been in her family for generations, and she hopes the success of the hoop house operation will help her pass it along to her children and grandchildren. For the U.S. Department of Agriculture, I'm Bob Ellison.
All right, welcome back to the Georgia Farm Monitor. Yet another example of Georgia 4-H turning out potential ag leaders of the future. This was back in October during the Georgia National Fair. Mitchell County's Kyle Hamilton taking home top honors at the Pantry Pride recipe competition, sponsored by the Georgia Food Bank Association, as well as the Arby's Foundation. Kyle's winning recipe, cowboy taco soup. Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Meals from the Field, and through the magic of TV, look who we have here today. Kyle himself with his winning recipe, cowboy taco soup. Also, my partner in crime, Marcia Crowley, our home economist special. Kyle, so glad to have you here today.
Thank you very much.
Take us back, Kyle, to to the whole fair situation and that competition when the judges were walking around and you were trying to fix stuff and impress everybody. Tell us what, it had to be just absolutely nerve-wracking for you.
Well, I thought I was doing something wrong because when I was cooking my meat, I was just like standing there waiting for it to cook, and I was like, come on. And then these judges are just walking around. There's like 4 or 5 judges just staring at me. I'm like, okay, come on, okay. Okay, and then I mix everything together, and I'm letting it simmer, and then I'm like, okay, what do I do now? I mean, I'm just sitting here waiting for it to heat up, and
yeah, but you were cool and calm under pressure. And a little bit about the competition. What was the purpose of the competition?
It was just to, I had to choose 3 items. Since I was a senior, I had to choose 3 items from food bank that I had to incorporate in my recipe, which I did canned food and then meat.
And here we go, and again, cowboy taco soup. And Marcia, from your standpoint, I know you've worked a little bit with Kyle on this recipe. You said it's pretty easy to make.
It's very easy. It would be a really good after work meal to plan. It's something that pretty much anybody of any age could make. So it's, from that standpoint, it's really good, versatile.
And you say it's easy? Well,
it's
here's my question for you. Prove it.
Prove it.
Prove it.
All
So
right,
let's go.
Kyle, you ready?
All
You ready?
right,
All right, you're in charge of stirring. Now, what is this?
I have my 1 pound of ground beef, and I have 1 pound of Italian sausage. You can use regular sausage if you want to.
No, use Italian sausage. No.
And then you put half a thing of onions in there to saute it and give it a little bit of flavor. After you cook that, you put 2 cans of corn, whole kernel corn if you want to.
And that is not drained, correct?
It's not drained, correct. Just sit there, stir that together a little bit, get the juices going. All right, and then you'll add 2 cans of Italian tomatoes.
I love this kid.
Diced tomatoes.
Italian stuff. This is awesome.
Okay. Then you stir that in there. You don't drain that either. The only thing you're going to drain is the black beans, which is what's coming up next. And then you're just going to sit there and rinse those a little bit. And then you sit there and mix those together.
Can we change it to Italian cowboy taco soup?
Sure, if you want to, if that makes you happy.
Can you tell he's Italian?
Okay, and then you're going to add 1 can of Rotel. The thing about the Rotel is you can make it original, spicy, mild, however you like it at home. And that's why it's universal. And then after that, you add 1 packet of taco seasoning.
And this is the envelope that you buy with the mix section and the spices, right?
Correct.
And that comes in mild and hot too, right? So, okay.
You can make that spicy or not spicy.
And while Kyle is stirring this up, we do want to thank Thompson Farms, our certified Georgia Farm Bureau certified market member, for providing us with the sausage. Also to Kroger, who is a Georgia Grown member, for providing all the other ingredients as well. So thank you to those guys.
Here's
And
the
then you're
secret ingredient.
The secret, yes. You add 1 packet of ranch, which if you don't like spicy, you can add 2, 3 packs of ranch. It does not matter. So then you just sit there and stir it.
And you would just simmer this for whenever you want to eat.
However long you want to. If you want to let it sit there and simmer for an hour, that's fine. If you want to sit there and put it on 3 or 4 and let it cook for 15 minutes, it's whenever you want to eat it. You can put it in a crock pot. I mean, it's so easy to make.
Versatile. Yeah, very versatile recipe. And what would you serve with this, Kyle?
You could serve it with sour cream, crackers, cheese. You can almost make it like a chili pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, you can make it anything you want to.
And I mean, they call it taco soup, cowboy taco soup, but you could actually eat it like a soup because you've got all the ingredients from the corn and the tomatoes in there as well. Or you could, it looks like it could be a dip as well. So either or. Well, that's great. Kyle, thank you so much for being with us today, my man. Marcia, thank you as well.
Kyle.
This was probably the easiest
it was easy
meals
for
from the
me.
field that you've ever
Kyle
had to do.
did all the work. You know, and Kyle is an aspiring chef. He wants to go to Le Cordon Bleu cooking school when he gets out of high school. So that's very good.
Right, and folks, we do want to remind you that you can find this recipe by logging on to gfb.org/recipe. Everything there is in detail for you. Again, cowboy taco soup, courtesy of Kyle. Have a great month. We'll see you.
Ray, Marcia, and Kyle, great job. Now, if you missed this month's Meal from the Field or any other feature on today's program, you can still see them in their entirety on our YouTube channel. That's the Georgia Farm Monitor. Once there, you can browse the archive of stories dating back as far as 2009. Also, don't forget to like the Georgia Farm Monitor Facebook page. We've got all kinds of photos on there for various events and the stories we've covered. Speaking of which, if you have a story idea, feel free to send us a message either on Facebook or the address listed below. That's news@farm-monitor.com. It is no secret that weevils can cause a major problem for a farmer and their crops. Now, producers of the southern pea crop are no exception, and researchers at the University of Georgia are doing all they can to stop one determined insect, the cowpea curculio. Most Southerners love peas. They're an excellent source of protein, an important component of our diets, and they have a number of marketing options for humans and forage for animals. They're also drought tolerant, growing well in the southeastern summers. However, there is one thing you may not know. They're under attack.
The problem that they're having is this insect that attacks southern peas or cowpea. And it's a problem that's really plagued the southeast for well over 100 years.
Dr. Riley is fighting a tough battle against this small but untiring insect. He said the cowpea curculio has been around for a very long time, and they're really hard to stop.
And then what has happened is the people that buy the peas, they basically say it's getting too difficult to grow this crop in this area. We're just going to move it to some other production site. So, in a sense, the insect has been winning. We're not doing that well.
Riley and his assistant, Jenna Kicklighter, are in the lab at the University of Georgia in Tifton daily, attempting new ways to help growers in southern states sustain their southern pea crops during the upcoming hot summer growing season.
Basically, I just set the trap out in the field, and it's a pheromone trap, so it just lures the curculios to the trap. And I just check it once a week, and you can expect around, depending on like the growing season, if there's southern peas in the field, or like around August and September, I think that's mainly the peak in their generation. So I can collect around 30 weevils per trap. It just depends really on their generation and where, if there's southern peas out there or not.
Riley said making his job a little more challenging is the limited funding his research receives from Washington.
One of the things with this particular insect problem is we've not been able to get federal funds to do this project. They basically look at it and they say, well, this is a southeastern problem, and you guys deal with it. And so really this problem has been studied mainly because of the local growers that have come forward and said, we will help you do this project.
Next time you enjoy peas at the dinner table, remember all the research that goes into making sure the consumer gets what they want. Now, there is a Georgia Vegetable Commission referendum vote that's currently underway through March 31st. If you'd like to find out more, contact Andy Harrison with the Department of Agriculture at the number on your screen. That is 404-586-1405. Stay with us after the break. The Farm Monitor remembers one of Georgia's most influential ag leaders.
All righty, welcome back to the Georgia Farm Monitor. A little tidbit for you. While more than half of Georgia's population lives in metropolitan Atlanta, agriculture is still the state's largest industry and is essential to Georgia's economy. That's why events like the recent Cherokee County Ag Expo are increasingly important.
It's kind of like that lizard that crawls up on something and turns the same color. They have took this county farm bureau and made it what the people in this community want to see and talk about. And agriculture in this community is different from what it is in South Georgia or over where I'm from. But Farm Bureau tries to adapt to all the people in the state of Georgia.
And folks, here's a point that I tried to make to the young student from Mercer today. It takes everybody. On this umbrella, there's not a separate section. Wouldn't be a very effective umbrella. It's all unified. We must have all parts of agriculture join in to feed the marketplace, and we as food consumers can determine what type of agriculture we want to get. It's a great thing to celebrate.
All right, now speaking of great, Georgia pecan producers got a great opportunity recently to learn how to manage their orchards better and be more efficient.
At UGA's Pecan School, growers heard presentations on a wide variety of topics to help them boost yields and increase their profits on their farms. The Monitor's Mark Wildman has that story.
In Tifton at UGA's Conference Center, pecan growers got to learn how to better manage diseases and pests, what fertilizers to use, and learn about different pecan varieties. It is all part of UGA's Pecan School, and it brought producers from all over Georgia together to learn how to maximize production on their farms. UGA pecan specialist Lenny Wells believes the school is a great way to give producers a lot of information in a short period of time.
Well, hopefully today, everybody that came would have learned something that they can take back to their farm and help them to just be better producers, produce that crop more economically. That's going to help their bottom line, and at the same time in a more sustainable manner.
The pecan industry has seen a rise in popularity in recent years, and the demand is very high. As a result, the industry is seeing a rise in the number of individuals interested in growing the crop.
We're seeing a lot of new faces, really, with the increase in prices and the expansion in the acreage that we're seeing a lot of new faces in the pecan industry.
Growers are eager for the start of the season and hoping this year's crop is a little better than last year's.
It was a decent crop for all the problems we had, all the issues with disease that really we've had going back even to 2013. So we were coming off a really stressful year in 13, and then 14, at various times in the season it looked like it was going to be a poor crop, then it looked like it was going to be a pretty good crop, then it looked like it was just kind of a mediocre crop, and that's kind of what it turned out to be. I think 70 million pounds, somewhere in there, is probably going to be what we're looking at.
The information gained in this school will be carried back to orchards around Georgia and be put to good use in helping Georgia pecan producers boost yields and boost the economy as well.
This time of year, everybody's getting ready for bud break. Most of them are, some still may be planting some trees, a lot of them are cleaning up limbs, getting ready to put out their herbicide sprays and fertilizing, and getting ready for the growing season.
Even though growers are optimistic, they need to pay close attention because issues can pop up at any time.
Well, pecan scab, especially coming off of 2 fairly wet years, is always an issue for pecan growers. Anytime we have a lot of rainfall, scab is an issue. And going into this growing season, it's been kind of wet up to now. If we see that rainfall pattern continue throughout the spring into the growing season, then scab's going to get off to another quick start, and growers will be under the gun to spray.
Before we know it, the market will be flowing with fresh Georgia pecans. In Tifton, I'm Mark Wildman for the Georgia Farm Monitor.
Well, finally, the Georgia Farm Bureau continues to mourn the loss of one of its former leaders. Bill Lanier, who served as GFB president from 1964 until 1970, died March 17th. After serving as the Bureau's president, Lanier went on to hold multiple positions with the USDA, including work as Director of Policy and Analysis and Assistant Administrator of the Agriculture Stabilization Conservation Service. A native of Candler County, Lanier received the Distinguished Alumnus from ABAC and was inducted into the Georgia Agriculture Hall of Fame, given by the College of Agricultural and Environmental Science at the University of Georgia. Bill Lanier was 88 years old.
And that's going to do it for this week's edition of the Georgia Farm Monitor.
Here's a reminder for all the latest ag info regarding food, great recipes, and what's happening down on the farm. Check out our Twitter, Facebook, and Pinterest pages. You'll stay informed and see what's up in the world of farming and the Farm Monitor Show.
Take care, everybody. We will see you next week right here on the Georgia Farm Monitor.
Hope you have a great week.